If you want to start a vicious gardening debate, look no further than the tilling people versus the no-till gardeners. It could get overwhelming watching these two sides go back and forth if you're a new gardener and you're trying to figure out how you want to make your garden. But think of it like this. A lot of the people that are no-till gardeners used to be till gardeners. And a lot of people that are till gardeners have never tried no-till gardening. So once you put it like that, who are you going to believe? I'm here to tell you that the tilling people are wrong. And I can say that because I used to be one of those tilling people. I started converting over about midsummer this year, and it's fall now. And I can tell you, once you go to no-till, the results are almost immediate. I was out here tilling in the early season, like a lot of people do, using the tiller between rows to chop up weeds, using the tiller to try to amend soil, to plant new crops. And my garden looked really good with the nice clean rows with no weeds in them. But I noticed the weeds would just come back right away, and my soil would look good for a while, and then all of a sudden it would turn to like a natural concrete, and it was hard to grow stuff in it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm pretty far along right now, converting this quarter-acre garden over to a no-till permaculture garden. But there is one spot over here that will demonstrate how bad the dirt can become if you bring a rototiller into your garden. So let's check this out. Here's some bare soil from the rototiller. Almost hard as a rock. You can barely dig in here. This would happen to me all year, and all I do is come out here with the rototiller again, till it under, and it'll be nice and light and fluffy again. But eventually it returns back to this state. Now let's compare that to this area where I just dug my Yukon Gold potatoes out of. This was covered in heavy mulch for the potatoes. Look at this dirt. That is very good dirt. This dirt was created by worms eating the straw and weeds and grass clippings I just threw on the surface. No tilling. I wish I had gotten a video of the potato harvest to show you all the worms that were in the soil. There was hundreds of them. I've never seen so many worms before. I did not see those worms when I was tilling, except for when I was hacking them to little pieces and killing them. Worms are so important for your garden. They are nature's rototiller. One of the main concepts of no-till gardening is using heavy mulching, whether it's going to be grass, straw, hay, wood chips, dead weeds, doesn't matter. You're covering the soil up. All that stuff is worm food. When you throw that on the soil surface, it doesn't matter how bad your soil is. The worms are going to come up. They're going to eat that. They're going to pull it under the surface, and they're going to have their worm castings go through your soil, and that's a natural fertilizer. Also, while they're doing that, they're making tunnels. They are aerating your soil. You do not need a tiller to aerate your soil. That's a very common argument, that you're aerating your soil. The worms do it all for you. This goes for anyone growing in raised beds as well. It's not something I typically do, but I did this for garlic. And I've been putting fresh grass clippings on top of this for about a month now. And when I went to put the garlic in here, I noticed worms crawling to the surface. And then you look, they start pulling this grass into the soil to eat it. And they've aerated this whole bed for me. I don't have to mix this up. They're pulling everything I put on top here into the soil. And even though this whole bed was filled with the same different amendments, look over here, this soil is a little lighter in color. And then if you come over here, this is nice black dirt. Another great thing about the worms is they don't use gasoline, which is really expensive right now. In case you haven't noticed, Mother Nature does not use a rototiller. So why do we come in and think we can do it better than Mother Nature? Her garden will outperform ours 1,000 to 1 every single time, no matter what you do. It's fall. I just saw the people online talking about busting out the rototiller to get the garden ready for winter, to get some of the soil amendments into the soil for next spring. But you know what nature's doing? Dropping leaves. And you know what all these leaves are doing? They're falling underneath the trees, fertilizing the ground, and creating a natural mulch. Weeds and prairie grasses are also starting to die back. That is fertilizer and natural mulch. When I was still tilling, we had a big drought going on, and I'd have to come out once or twice a day to water all my plants because they kept dying. And I had this overgrown area right next to my garden just laughing at me. It was bright green and didn't get any water because of the drought, and everything was doing great. You do not get moisture retention when you till your garden. You lose it. That's another reason why, as no-till gardeners, we use heavy mulching techniques. Besides the fertilizing it does for your soil, it retains moisture. If you're anything like me, you're probably getting pretty aggravated about watering your garden. Whether you had a drought or not, we still have to come out here and water our garden. If you throw away the tiller, you will not have to do that anymore. You will cut back big time on watering. And same thing goes with fertilizer. You do not need to come out here constantly and keep adding fertilizer to your garden. As long as you don't till it, just let the worms do the work. Don't get me wrong, it is a lot of work to set up a no-till gardening system between the cardboard, the heavy mulching, adding organic matter. But when it comes to next year, you're going to save yourself a lot of time. So fall is a perfect time to do this. All your plants are dying anyway. You're probably looking for something to do in your garden besides tearing out all your plants that are dying when the frost is hitting. This is when you get in here and you do this. By next year, this is all going to be rotted down, and we're going to have the benefits of a fertilized soil, and we're not going to have to water as much. Besides the benefits of heavy mulching when it comes to moisture retention and fertilizing the soil, people seem to forget that the soil has its own ecosystem underneath it. When you take a tiller through it, you kill that ecosystem. It's full of fungi, bacteria, microorganisms. Your plants need all those as much as they need water and fertilizer. This ecosystem is vital for your plants. It forms a relationship with the root system, whether it's plants you put in your garden, weeds, everything in nature. It all works together. I know the tilling people are probably rolling their eyes at this point. They're usually pretty hard-headed and don't want to change their ways when it comes to tilling. They like to say that every method of gardening is not suitable for everyone, but I can tell you one method that's not suitable for anyone, and that's tilling. So if you're open-minded, follow me and start gardening the right way. Get rid of the tiller. No more tilling. Thanks for watching.